You raise a heck of a point. Kanye, and I'm not, because he said so much and I listened to so much, he addresses this, and so I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself because we haven't played the clip where he basically speaks to, like, these artists are selected because they can be controlled. There's what's the dude's name? Baby from Cash Money Records? Baby.
The head?
Yeah. All tatted up, face, everything. This dude, straight out of prison. Birdman.
Yeah, he go by Baby too. Yeah.
Birdman. He's a criminal. And he doesn't deny it. And I think before he became it's like he came out of prison to be a record executive. And so somebody gave him that platform. He didn't earn it while making license plates in prison. It's like, well, we need a Negro that we can control, who's capable of violence and can go out and intimidate and rip off Lil Wayne and whoever else.
And kiss him in the mouth.
Yeah, and all of that. Yeah, all that behavior is normalized in prison. And so, again, Kanye's argument, and we'll get to it here in a second, is like, they selectively choosing who gets these roles. And again, it's why Jay-Z is so, because he was a drug dealer. And he's rapped about being a drug dealer. They got a FBI file on all these guys. And I sound like a tinfoil hat, Black Alex Jones. I don't care. It's factual because I see it playing out, and we'll get into it. I see it playing out in my industry the same way. All people get installed in these positions, and maybe it's not because of their criminal record. Maybe it's because there's an HR file a block long on them on who all they've sexually harassed at that job. And so they own those people. And so when they bring them into the office, I need you to say this, 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 and this. They have no choice because they can get rid of that. Well, if you don't cooperate, we can get rid of you, and you're not going to make this $3 million a year, $4 million a year, and with all them baby mamas you got, you need this money, or you have to significantly change your lifestyle, and that's why they can go on TV. Skill. They be racist, Skill, because he knows they got an HR file.
He does sound like a runaway slave.
He ain't ran very far, trust me. He's on anyway. So he gets to your point. Call them out individually. And I think that sounds great on paper until the defamation lawsuits start rolling in.
Yeah.
And I think we've gone through the Alex Jones situation that ain't no telling which direction lawsuits will how they'll pan out, which direction they'll spin. Kanye has said, we're in this world now where Kanye has said he didn't even have his knee on his neck like that. And he's getting sued for $250 million.
Yeah.
And it's spun out in the media, in whoever controls the media. Let's act like no one specific. Whoever the individuals are in control of the media spun that out as Kanye said George Floyd didn't die because of Derek Chauvin. The man said he didn't have his knee on his neck like that. The media spun it out as this declarative statement of how George Floyd died. And now it's powered a lawsuit. And because of what we just saw in the Alex Jones deal, a jury, based on emotion, based on narrative, can come up with any verdict they want and award however much money. And so if you start calling these super powerful, super rich, connected with every good lawyer in town out.
On the right, you'll hear people, I've seen Tucker Carlson do this, say, use the phrase Soros-backed DAs. But on the left, they say, criticism of George Soros is anti-Semitism. And one of the things that's actually ironic about this conversation is that I believe that, generally speaking, and I'm going to speak in group generalities now, that black people and Jewish people in this country have very similar ways and characteristics as it relates to public criticism. Because in the same way criticism of George Soros is spun as, anti-Semitic, criticism of Maxine Waters or Barack Obama or
LeBron James
is spun as racist. even when the person is not even talking about either their skin color or their religion. So there's a similarity there. In the same way, if you criticize Jewish people, that's going to lead to anti-Semitic attacks. If you criticize black people, that's going to lead to hate crimes. If this is how the Holocaust started, this is how we're going to end up back in Jim Crow. There's a lot of parallels in those two sort of situations. One of the big differences is the asymmetry there, because the black elite are more protective of the people they say have no power, because you couldn't get Nori, you couldn't get all the political commentators, the analysts, you could Ilhan Omar, Mark Lamont Hill, to denounce the garbage that's pumped on BET or that comes out of Hollywood. But when Kanye West says what he says, right, even the George Floyd stuff, then all of a sudden everybody's apologetic. And I was saying to Shamika earlier, Nori had on Irv Gotti, former head of Murder Inc., CEO. And Irv was recounting a relationship that he claimed he had with Ashanti 20 years ago. He called her the B word. He's talking under her clothes, and they slept together, and they did this. Nori didn't apologize for any of that. So it's one of those things where if the message is clear, if the people that you're degrading and denigrating and criticizing are black men or black women, if you're promoting crime, degradation, self-destruction, you have a free pass. Regardless of who's running it, regardless of who is the mouthpiece for it, you have a free pass. Not only do you have a free pass, we'll pay for it. We're the NFL. We believe in black lives. We stand against the oppression of black people. But we're going to hire, Snoop and Dr. Dre and whoever. We're going to platform Meek Mill as he drives his bus with his album cover with naked black women on the front of it with little, pixelated things over their private parts. We promote that. We promote that to our people. But if you criticize certain people in certain groups, if you say, well, I'm not sure I believe that the NFL is gay. Oh, no, that's NFL conversion therapy. We can't have that. Then it's like, okay, now you can't criticize. So I think at a certain point, people just got to, look, this is the standard, and we're going to hold everybody to the same standard. But clearly, we're not there yet.
Yeah, and I think it's clear to Kanye that these people that have spewed all this hate, all this gangster music, I'm a gangster, I'll do this, I'll do that, are really weak. They're not going to have his back. When Ice Cube came out and said, I don't know where he gets the idea. Like, Ice Cube, we heard you for years tell us that Jerry Heller, who was a Jewish music executive, was evil. Like, we heard you saying these things over and over and over again.
It wasn't just Jerry Heller, though. He used the word Jew.
Right,
the
he
whole
did.
Crew.
Devils, he called them devils. So how now can you say you don't know where this came from? Like, he put out a whole picture of, like, this Monopoly board that was on the backs of black men with a bunch of white or Jewish men, it looked, sitting around the table and said, all we have to do is stand up. Well, you have Kanye trying to stand up, and now you have people like you being weak that, I don't know where that came from. This is what you've been pushing into our minds for years. And so it's just, I don't know, for me, it's really crazy to hear people act as if you should name names. He's not going to have the support because people have already started to just kind of throw him to the wolves. And he has black people and Jewish people mad at him right now because the black people are mad that he wore the White Lives Matter shirt. Black people are saying, they didn't care when he was being anti-black. So they consider him saying, slavery was a choice as anti-black. So it's like he has two groups mad at him now simply for saying, I got what he meant when he said slavery was a choice. Like, he wasn't saying they signed up for it. He was just saying, hey, why wasn't it maybe more, rebellions or, he's looking at today and seeing how people willingly go along with BS to understand how they willingly went along with a lot of stuff then.
I would assume a guy that's been in the industry for this long probably has some receipts. And can you, if you need to go to court over it, and somebody wants to sue you for defamation and you've got the money to back up the lawyers in the short term, then call out the very specifics. And you say, I'm not going to name the guys that I can't prove it, but it's this way across the industry. And here's the 3 I know about.
Let's say he called out Jimmy Iovine. That's Dr. Dre's guy, and Beats by Dre, and he's connected to LeBron James, and LeBron James's son now has a Beats by Dre endorsement deal or whatever. And my point is, all of these guys that he would be calling out by name have their little army of black elite celebrities that are beholden to them, that will come out and that ain't the Jimmy Iovine I know. I mean, Jimmy been good to me.
Right.
I mean, holy cow.
There's probably a line of bodies of guys they've screwed just like Kanye, though.
That you've never heard of.
Right.
Yeah.
That and would mean nothing. Oh, you mean that worthless person that, again, that they would be all inconsequential compared to the people that would come out and speak on, oh my, Dr. Dre and Jimmy Iovine gave USC $70 million. And all of the people caping up for him, and then it would be, yeah, Jimmy Iovine screwed over Leroy Washington from Compton. And have you seen his criminal record, or or how many baby mamas he's got, or whatever? It sounds good calling out the individuals.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that it's not, because I've called out people by name my entire career. I'm not saying, but I think what is being most effective, and I'll just say it, I think Trump's strategy has been effective. It's created a conversation that has awakened a lot of people, and we'll get there now. I think somebody was saying before the show, either you or Delano, Trump created Ron DeSantis. And so eventually Kanye kicking up all this dust is going to create his version of Ron DeSantis. There will be somebody who can stand in the pocket and make this argument very articulate that everybody's gonna have to listen to. But Kanye right now is just the conversation he had with this Lex guy. Important. This was a very lucid, easy to understand Kanye West in a long format with someone he's clearly comfortable with, that he put his arguments together a lot better than what I've seen previously.